The biggest financial mistakes aren't usually made with those $20, $32 purchases. They're made with decisions worth tens, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. I learned this from personally paying off $43,000 worth of debt in 13 months and building up a pretty nice net worth that I'm very proud of, but I made plenty of mistakes along the way. So in this video, let's react to some real Reddit situations that most parents are going to go through and see what the best course of action is. All right, and all of these are going to be from the subreddit Personal Finance. This was from 2 days ago. Next step with windfall of money. What do you do if you're 53 earning $12 an hour and all of a sudden you get $300,000? Holy crap. What are your next steps? You don't have any debts. You have a paid off house and car, but your potential earning income is low. The obvious answer is to invest, but what do you invest in? Do you invest in a target date mutual fund? So, holy crap. Okay. So what happened here? What's the context? Maybe you were in a will or something like that. So first of all, congratulations on earning $12 an hour and there's no debts. You have a paid off house and car. So first of all, how'd you pull that off? That is incredible. Kudos with you. There's not much other context here in terms of like what you do have. So what I would say, which is out understanding any of the other context, yes, of course we can get to investing in a second, but at the end of the day, what I would do is have a certain amount of money that you feel comfortable with and put that into a high yield savings account. So I would create a couple buffers because you don't want to mess this up, right? We don't want this $300,000 to turn to nothing really soon. So I personally like to have a buffer in my checking account. So my wife and I, we do 3 mortgage payments as a checking buffer. And then we have a savings buffer, just a little bit, not a big deal. And then we have a good amount in a high yield savings account. And this is just so that if anything comes up, we've got a mortgage and 2 kids. So we don't want anything to like mess up our life, essentially. We've made it too far. We've done all this stuff. So like we don't want to deal with that. So we have a buffer in place. So that's what I'd recommend to this person here. What would be a fair buffer that you like in your checking? And by buffer, I mean like if you're disciplined enough to have money in your checking account and not spend it, this is what I'm talking about. So like a new zero. So the 3 mortgage payments that my wife and I have, it's like a new zero. We can't go below that. That's our rule. But I would, at the end of the day, like put money into something just to make sure that like if an unexpected expense comes up, you're making $12 an hour, you might not be able to figure it out, in time or whatever. So whatever that means for you, you just have like, I don't know, 6 months worth of expenses. Like it doesn't seem like you have a lot of stuff going on in your life, which is great, by the way. So like how much would 6 months of your expenses be? We'll say worst case $5K. So $30K in a high yield savings account, and that's kind of your buffer. That sounds pretty good to me. Then what you could do is I like the idea of maxing out an IRA every year. So currently I believe that's $7,500 is the limit. And I don't know what you do for work, good sir or fine madam, but if there's any way to do a 401k, that could be a good way. But if not, yes, some sort of brokerage account. You can absolutely do a target date mutual index fund. Like I'm assuming you mean like when you plan on retiring. So let's say it's 65, 12-year kind of target date. You absolutely could do that. The challenge with those is like as you get closer to the date, of course, and it makes sense, but the risk goes down and the safety net of like what you're investing in broadens. So like when someone starts investing at 20, for example, and they put in a target date in 45 years, like they're going to be their portfolio is going to be a lot riskier than someone who needs to retire in like 2 years. So just keep that in mind because you are closer to the retirement age. It's going to be a little safer. So if you think that, say $300,000, or in the example I gave you, 270 after I put 30K in your high yield savings, 270 growing year over year, month over month, whatever, with interest and stuff like that in your investing portfolio. If you think that's going to be enough for you to like hang on for after you retire, then do that. But I think being a little more aggressive, because it sounds like you don't really have much else besides this, and this could really kind of beef up what we're doing here. So if I go to a compounding interest calculator, and let's say you put in $270,000, and let's say you do 15 years at a conservative return of 8%. So even $100 a month, if you put an extra $100 a month towards that, you're basically a millionaire. If you put $0 a month, it's really not a big difference. So $900,000. So if you just put that thing in something that's going to grow safely, but also like at a good rate, yeah, you're going to be sitting pretty, $900,000 in 15 years, who knows what that's going to be or look like. But that sounds like a lot, especially, again, it doesn't seem like you get into too much trouble here with your finances. So kudos on you. Great job. Alrighty, let's jump right into the next one here. This is from a day ago. It's super fresh. Need help getting my financial life back on track. I want to get this out of the way. I made poor choices. I took on too much debt, assumed job stability I didn't have, and didn't fight harder to get my former landlord to allow me to leave instead of filing an eviction like they chose to, despite my attempts to cooperate. Everything collapsed when I was sick for a month, then subsequently fired from my job and was unable to find employment to a further 7 months. During that time, I was evicted, had my car repossessed, and ended up moving to Mexico so my family there could support me while I searched for a job and recovered both physically and emotionally. I now have a very good job where I'm salaried at $100,000 a year, but I have massive debts. So $10K in credit cards, $3K in other lines of credit, $12 owed after my car was repossessed, and $10 due to my former corporate landlord, and $5 for furniture I purchased. My credit score is now a pathetic 450, and I'm behind on collections on almost everything. I don't know what to do. Much of my debt is secured, so things like a debt management plan won't be able to help there. I now make too much to qualify for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, and I don't think Chapter 13 would actually help me very much. I purchased an old car from a family member for $1,000, and it's my only asset. All my possessions fit into my 5 suitcases. I have to live in an Airbnb because nobody will rent to me. I feel trapped, angry with myself, and unsure how to proceed. I cannot move forward and live a normal life this way. I can't start a relationship to be with someone. Got it. Looking for advice. Cool. So, yeah, this is very detailed. I appreciate you sharing this so we can get right into the action here. And I'm sorry all that happened to you, but it does sound like you're willing to make a change. So I think that's great. First of all, it's not a tremendous amount of debt. Like, it feels heavy, I'm sure, to you. So we have 10, 20, 25, 37, 30, 40. We have $40,000 of debt. $40,000 of debt. So it's really not that bad. So I think, one, ignore the credit score. Don't even worry about that. Too many people focus on the credit score. I wouldn't even think about that. I would just say, what can I do to start getting these paid off? And then once you do that, once the inputs are there, the habits are built, that credit score is just going to go up regardless. So how I'm helping people right now, how I'm helping families figure out their finances is in this program. The first 6 weeks of it is a cash flow accelerator. I'm just basically helping them find as much money in their finances that already exists without having them have to, make more money. And it's in a 3-step process. First is a 3-month look back. You're going to go back 90 days, where have you spent all your money? Categorize it. You can use AI. It's going to be really super quick. Then you're going to write down a list of North Star goals. This is step number 2. And this is things like life goals, financial goals, non-negotiable spending that you have. This could be like current goals, future goals, etc. And then step 3, we're going to look at where we've spent our money. We're going to look at where we want to spend our money. And then step 3 is realignment. So moving things from places that aren't on the North Star goal list that you're spending a lot in to some place that you're maybe underutilizing or spending on your North Star goal. So for example, if you have health and fitness on your North Star goal list and you see, oh wow, I've not spent really any money in health and fitness, maybe just the $20 gym membership, right? So it's like, ooh, maybe I should be spending more in that category. Then you have things like utilities or whatever that just kind of are what they are. So the average of the 3 months, we just kind of use that. We don't need to add or take away from that. That's fine. And then things that are not on our North Star goal list that we're spending a lot in, and spoiler alert, the biggest category of this is like dining out, food delivery, restaurants, and people, Amazon, and people are like, wow, I can't believe, I am shocked that I'm spending this much money in these categories. And then they just simply realign it to something that matters to them. So in this person's case, it seems like paying off debt is going to be one of their top North Star goals. And what you could do, this is something that I give inside my personal finance community. It's a debt payment calculator. So the link to the community, by the way, it's free, is in my YouTube channel homepage. And this is not your information because I don't have your interest rates or anything like that. But what you could do is enter all your stuff into this debt payment calculator, your balances, your interest rates, your minimum payments, and then you can just play around with the monthly payments. So the reason why we're trying to find all that extra money in our finances, realign it, it's so that we can put more money towards things that are more beneficial, right? So instead of buying that thing on Amazon that you definitely don't need, let's put more money towards paying off our debt. And especially if it has interest, it's going to be paid off way faster. And this is how my wife and I paid off $43,000 worth of debt in the 13 months. So I would do something like that. And you could it's really eye-opening. So as an example, like just to go through this quickly, if you had this example, right, and your minimum payments were $365, so let me just type this back in. It's going to show you that if you just make minimum payments, your debt will be paid off in like 28 years. And the total interest you'll be paying on your debt is $81,000. So you're not in $43,000 of debt. You have 43 plus 81, so $124,000, right? But if we make larger payments, so if you say you find an extra $500 every single month that you want to put towards debt, now instead of 28 years, we're looking at 5 years to pay off debt. And we just saved, what is that, $72,000 of interest. So the reason why we find all this extra money is so that we can put it towards more valuable things. So that's just kind of something that I would do, but keep your head up. Definitely don't go into bankruptcy. You don't need it. Don't join any of these debt management plans. You don't need it. You just have to get more disciplined with where your money is going. Put it towards here. You make a good salary. I don't know your other like living expenses or anything like that, but things will pick up. And then once you start paying off the debt and it becomes consistent, like the credit score will go up, and then you can try to keep renting and try to figure that out. But keep your chin up. You got this. Let's move to the next one. Alrighty, what do we got here? 2 days ago, going from $2,100 to $2,600 rent. Excessive or doable? Oh, well, it depends. 31 male, flying solo. No GF for kids. Got laid off from a previous job where I was making $105,000. Found a new job making $120,000. But now cost of living, of course, is higher compared to what I was paying previously. I live in a very high cost of living area. Okay. Northeast New Jersey. Average rent for a decent one bed is in the shitbox. Usually starts like $2,400 to $2,600 a month. I visited a few apartments that are very nice. Blah, 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 blah. Is $2,600 a month base rent on my income viable, or is it pushing the boundaries too much? So the one thing I can do before even like looking at anything else is I can just take out my calculator, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 100, let's do $2,600 times 12. So that annually is $31,000. And then I'm going to take 120,000 divided by the $31,000, and we're looking at 26%. Okay, so I would say that that's not bad in terms of the roof over your head. So typically how I like to think about it is there's a budgeting strategy, whatever you want to call it, called the 50-30-20 rule. So 50% of your income goes towards need items. So a roof over your head would probably be considered a need item. 30% should be going towards want items, 20% towards financial goals. And that's the thing that the internet says. I actually hate this strategy personally. So 50%, great. So I think you would be a big check mark. And I don't know, is it worth making a post here for $500 a month? I know like the cost of living is high and everything like that, but like, I don't know, it seems okay. But instead of, so the reason why I don't like the 50-30-20 is because what do you think the order of what people prioritize is based on that? So they prioritize, roof over my head, utilities, stuff like that, right? Groceries. And then, the want items, right? All that stuff. And then it's like, if I have money left over, then I'll put that towards the financial goals. But what I like to do, and how my wife were able to explode our net worth, was because we did need items, financial goals, everything else. So everything else got sacrificed. We made sure the the roof was overhead, food was on the table, all that good stuff. And then we paid ourselves first and put a lot of money towards future financial goals. You know, our kids are 5 and 2 now, but before we had them, we were like just trying to get out of debt so that we didn't have this lingering over our household when you know, we decided to have kids or whatever. And then we rolled that money into investing and other things like that. And those, say, 3 to 5 years are really what exploded our net worth, because we were just so laser locked in focus. So at the end of the day, the TLDR, I'm not even going to read this whole thing because, you know, I'm not, but accessible or doable, as long as we're looking at our numbers, and it looks like you are here based on all of this. So good on you. Good sir, since you are a male. And let's jump to the next. Alrighty, this was from 2 days ago, so we got a lot of fresh content here. Selling stocks in preparation for buying a home in next few years, ? Hi, me and my soon-to-be fiance are planning on buying a home in the next few years. We're casually looking now, but our price range is 500 to 800K. We'd like to put at least 20% down, if not a little more. I'm wondering if I need to sell some of my taxable portfolio, which mainly consists of broad market ETFs, mutual funds. It would incur long-term capital gains. I have about $67,000 in cash or cash equivalent. And right now I make $180,000 a year. Any advice? Well, first of all, I hate the idea of taking money out of a taxable portfolio to be able to do this. Why? That's like a huge price range. So again, if I love doing the math here, guys. I love doing the math. So what is 20% of $500,000? So it's $100,000. Okay. And I obviously could have done that math. It's very late. I don't know if you could tell by the darkness of my office here, but it's very late. So $100,000, and of $800,000, I'm just going to do it in the calculator, guys. I don't want to do it in my head. $160,000. So you need $100,000 to $160,000. So my question is, like, why do you need a house in that price range? Because at the end of the day, like, a big box is not all it's cracked up to be. There's a lot of problems that come up. There's a lot of things, and I'm speaking from personal experience. The excitement of buying a new home is so exciting, but then after a couple of years, you just realize, oh, maybe I just bought a lot of problems, right? And it's true, because we work so hard and we try to put our money towards these things that we want, and then we get the thing that we want, and then it's like, oh, well, and it just becomes normal, right? Because you just live there, and it's just like your thing. So I guess, like, my question is, where do you live? I don't need your address, but like your location, right? Where are you? Where you think this price range is appropriate, or why you want it? I have so $67,000 in cash or cash equivalents, and you make $180 a year. Yeah. So any advice? I would just, like, the next couple years, I would just be pumping money into. You could do a brokerage. I don't love it. I think I read this before as like retirement. So I read this as retirement before. So taxable portfolio, okay, that's not horrible to put money into it, and then take out you pay the capital gains, but that might be the better way to grow it for sure. And if you're a parent looking to kind of get some clarity on your personal finances, you live month to month to month, and there's like everything just feels like it's resetting. There's no compounding happening. There's nothing working in your finances. Right now, I'm helping families get out of that struggle. So in the link below this video, there's a call just to have a quick chat with me. I just want to see where you're at, where you want to go, and then we can see if I can possibly help at all. And right now I'm helping families go through this like cash flow accelerator and then a financial control system. So it's this like big program where I'm helping people do that for like a couple months, and it really has been changing people's lives. And here are some of the results from the first part of the program. So like Sandy found $1,200. Gemma's never saved so much money in her life. Kahisha, $1,300. Kim, over $1,000. And this is money that they found in their finances. They didn't make any more money. They didn't sell that weird thing on eBay or have a tag sale. They literally just took their finances and like, oh, wow, I need to do more with this. I need to be better with this. And they did that. And then they were able to take that and put it towards paying off debt, retirement stuff, kids' future education, etc. So if that sounds something like you might be interested in, check out the link below. If not, here's another Reddit video if you like these.